At Federal Way High School, the Latinx Club shared a presentation during a school assembly. So I thought they were doing away with Latinx. I thought that actual people found that term offensive, but apparently they are continuing with a Latinx Club at Federal Way High School. So that club prepared this presentation for all students to see at an assembly. And here's just the front of it. Hispanic Heritage Month 2025. Here is part of the over 4-minute long video that students at Federal Way High School were subjected to.
We are told we're illegal, but how can you trespass on the bones of your own ancestors?
The U.S.-Mexico border was not decided by nature or ancestry. It was decided by war.
And now we're criminalized for returning to lands that carry our names.
My food is older than your country. The potato in your fries, the tomato in your burger and pizza.
I am American, like the tomato that flavors your hamburger and the pizza you call your own.
So no, I'm not illegal. No, I'm not invading. No, I'm not an outsider. I'm not illegal in the lands of my ancestors.
Before there was a Mexico, before there was a United States, before there were passports and fences and flags, my people were here.
If the American race has a face, this is it. I am it, the Native American race. I am the face of the original America, the real America, the American race.
If the American race has a look, I am that look.
Brown-skinned Mexicans, the ones they call illegal aliens, and the ones they mock with slurs and ignorance. We are not from somewhere else. We are the living descendants of the first civilizations of this continent.
Okay, a couple things. First of all, that was made with AI. You can tell it's very obvious. So these aren't even real people delivering this message. It was whatever they used to generate these sort of AI videos. There's two very concerning things in there. There is a clear attempt to vilify immigration and thus vilify President Donald Trump's efforts to follow the law and make sure that people come here legally. That's clearly an undertone. But there's one that I think is far more concerning, and you heard it at the end of that video, and that went on for 4 minutes, by the way, which is nuts. You heard at the end of that video where they're saying, I am what a real American looks like. Over and over. This is the face and the skin of a real American. Imagine if that were reversed. If it were a video of white people saying, I'm what a real American looks like. Would never be allowed. So for all the kids in the assembly at Federal Way High School watching that who, aren't Native American or have brown skin, they're not real Americans? They're not what a real American looks like? It's just fascinating that these people who are, claiming racism and bias, they do what they say is being done to them and just opposite and do it to white people and white kids. And here's, I think, one of the kickers. The parent who sent this to us is half Mexican and part Native Apache. And he's very offended by it. And he sent this over, and he also sent a note to the assistant principal, and he told us, I'm half Mexican, part Native Apache, and my father had a green card, and I still believe people should not be able to come to the U.S. illegally. He said, I told the school that even tribes didn't go into other tribes' areas. Even they had borders back then, he said. The assistant principal was very nice, and she said she didn't take the video the same way I did, but that she spoke with people who did the video and shared my thoughts and concerns. I'm just going to guarantee that the assistant principal is white. Can we ask the dad that? I'm just going to guarantee, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I have a strong feeling the assistant principal is white. And you've got this dad who's half Mexican, part Native Apache, telling her, this is a very problematic video, done with AI that shows, traditional Native American head garb and stuff. And she's saying she doesn't find it problematic. We'll find out tomorrow. I guarantee the assistant principal is white. And then it didn't stop there. So in the video, in the presentation that the Latinx Club gave to Federal Way high schoolers, they had information in there on how to avoid ICE and how to avoid and not help ICE agents. It said, know your rights. If you're stopped by ICE, remain silent. You have the right to remain silent. Do not sign. Don't sign anything ICE gives you. Ask for a lawyer. Do not open the door. If ICE comes to your home, don't open the door unless they have a warrant signed by a judge. Even if you are undocumented, you are entitled to these rights under the United States Constitution. Now, I don't disagree with that. I mean, I don't disagree with the notion that people have rights when they're contacted by law enforcement. But in the context of this entire presentation, this was an entire presentation meant to vilify Donald Trump, vilify ICE agents, vilify the idea that the country should have lawful immigration and people should come here legally. And it was clearly meant to basically make all the white kids in the audience feel bad, like they're not real Americans. And I think there's just something that especially perturbs me about it being done with AI. Like, you couldn't find Native Americans or Hispanics to actually tape that video and talk about their real personal experience. You had to create fictional people delivering fictional lines that you fed them through an AI machine? That's interesting. Because if this were this like real profound problem, you would have no issue finding real people to tell their stories to this assembly. But it's just, well, Nicole, can we play that clip of the video one more time? Because again, just picture Latinx Club, Federal Way, student assembly, like picture being a white kid who's in there being forced to listen to 4 minutes of this.
We are told we're illegal. But how can you trespass on the bones of your own ancestors?
The U.S.-Mexico border was not decided by nature or ancestry. It was decided by war.
And now we're criminalized for returning to lands that carry our names.
My food is older than your country. The potato in your fries, the tomato in your burger and pizza. I am American, like the tomato that flavors your hamburger and the pizza you call your own.
So no, I'm not illegal. No, I'm not invading. No, I'm not an outsider.
I'm not illegal in the lands of my ancestors.
Before there was a Mexico, before there was a United States, before there were passports and fences and flags, my people were here.
If the American race has a face, this is it. I am it, the Native American race.
I am the face of the original America, the real America.
Real America.
The American race.
If the American race has a look, I am that look.
Brown-skinned Mexicans, the ones they call illegal aliens, and the ones they mock with slurs and ignorance. We are not from somewhere else.
Who's mocking you?
We are the living descendants of the first civilizations of this continent.
Yeah, okay. And Nicole just did a quick search. That vice principal's name is Amanda. So something tells me, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but something tells me I was right about her being white and telling a father who's part Mexican, part Native Apache that him being offended by the video doesn't reflect her experience with the video. Got it. Yeah, all of this, and they'll probably say, oh, this is about building empathy, building empathy. No, it's about political indoctrination. You know it is, and thank God there are parents who have had enough of it and are pushing back and are letting us know about it so we can bring it to the light. Ridiculous.